Hello, my name is Ethril, and today I will be showing you, or rather giving you my list for a Valeos deck, which is a deck that centers on Valeos. And yeah, so I'm going to start with my grade 3 lineup first. So my grade 3 lineup is 4 Valeos, 1 Tetra Drive, and 1 George. And Valeos is a very well, not a straightforward card, but it's fairly simple card. So the first skill is auto on Vanguard Circle, only once per turn. Cost counter blast one, so blast one. Choose one of your opponent's vanguards. Until the end of turn, it loses 5,000 power. Then, if your opponent's vanguard is grade 3 or greater, that unit that unit's or power cannot be changed other than this unit and Guardian Shield. So if they're at let's say they're at Tetra Drive, you -5 them. They're gonna be at 7k since they're at grade 3. So they're gonna be stay at 7k. This is very useful because when fighting against something like MLB or Reiji or um, who is it called? The Gold Paladin, the one that gains 1k at all turns. Oh yeah, a Spectral Duke Dragon. Their plus power during your turn, it's gonna fizzle out. Technically, it's still a plus power, so they're gonna lose that power since it's not from a Guardian's Shield or Valios himself. So their 18k MLB becomes a 8k MLB because -5k from Valios itself, and another 5 -5k because technically the skill where it gains 5k is turned off. Now the second skill is basically Megiddo. Act on Vanguard Circle once per turn. You discard one card with the same card name as your Vanguard. So if your Vanguard's Valeos, you discard Valeos. And you choose 5 cards in your drop zone and you call them to your regard circles. Also, you remove all of your markers. This is, in my opinion, either a value button. Basically, you can guard with with a lot of your coral salts if you have a spare values in hand. So if you need only guard 5k, if you have 2 values in hand, or one if you already have a values vanguard, you can just dump them out, get them back from the drop zone. So yeah, and also one of the only ways of superior calling. Actually, I think this is the only way of superior calling. And the third skill is auto on Vanguard Scroll once per turn. At the end of the battle that your unit attack, it can be rear guard or it can be Vanguard. You choose 2 units and they exchange positions, but their state is still the same. So let's say you have one on the front row and on the front row left and one on the back row right. You choose both. You choose both. You choose both, and then you exchange position. It doesn't matter if it's in the same column in the same row. It doesn't matter. It will always exchange position, and also they stay at their states. So let's say the back row, so let's say the front row unit is rested and the back row unit is stand. When you exchange, the soon to be front row unit will stay stand because technically it didn't do anything, it still stands. So yeah, it's one of the ways to multi-attack. It's also a some kind of in my opinion sometimes a fix your board button. Well, not a button, fix your board skill, because sometimes your board is not looking good. Yeah, that's Valios. Tetra Drive, I run one. It's mainly because it's a blue wave card, and in my opinion its skill is absolute garbage, except for the second skill, and even then the second skill is not good. The first skill is auto Vanguard or Regard Circle. counter blast one, and this unit gains 2000 power. I don't know why. I don't know how. It's 2011. I think it's 2021 where they print this. I don't know why they did this. Yeah, it's absolute garbage. Don't use the first skill unless you actually really need it, or if you're facing a forest clan, which is understandable. And the second skill is auto on Vanguard Circle. Uh, when you're at the end of battle that your rearguard attack, um, it depends on the what attack. If it's the fourth battle, you discard two cards. You stand Tetra Drive, and Tetra Drive will lose a drive. The second one is at the seventh attack of a rearguard. You counterblast one and discard a card to stand it in it. Yes, you restand, um, but the problem is it's not good. Um, in my opinion, this is like either your opening or your finisher, but most of the time with this deck, you're going to use Valeos. Hell, even if they're at grade 2, you're still most likely gonna go Valeos. And George's first skill is what you actually use this for. Auto on Riga Circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, you stand one of your back row units. Very useful because in this deck you exchange a lot of positions. You attack with George. You raise one of your back row regards, and the back row regard can potentially create another attack, or hell, potentially create two more attacks. So yeah, it's a very nice card. In my opinion, it's not a tag card. In my opinion, if you use Valios, this is a must. At least one. Uh, yeah. The second skill is act on Vanguard Circle once per turn. Counterblast one, Soul plus one, and choose one of your opponent's Vanguard. It loses 5000 power. This is if you cannot get Valios. If you really do not have Valios, like it's when you need the minus 5k, and most of the time you need the minus 5k. So riding into him is sometimes the only option that you have, but you prefer riding Valios either way because of the effect that it gives. So yeah, that's my grade 3. I'm going to move on to my grade 2. I'm running two Galeas, two Foivos, two Terrific Coil Dragon, three Galeot, and four Coral Salt. I'm gonna start with um, both of these first. Yeah, Galeas and Foivos. They are really good card because for Galeas, the first skill is continuous Vanguard or Riga Circle. During your turn, if you have 4 or more other rested unit, this unit gains 5000 power, so it can give slightly more power. The second skill is when it's the good part. When your grade 3 Vanguard attack, if your opponent's Vanguard's current power is different than the original one, counterblast one, you stand this unit. Before I explain why that is good, I'm going to explain Foivos because it's almost the same thing. The first skill is useless because it requires a Revon Vanguard, and you do not have Revon Vanguard, so I'm gonna just ignore that. The second skill is what you use it for. Auto on Riga Circle, the same thing. When your Vanguard grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard's current power is different than the original one, you discard one instead of the counter plus one that Gallias have, and then you restand this unit. This is the main way that you get multi. One of the main ways that you get multi attack. In my opinion, this deck is glass cannon. You will be maybe surviving 5 turns total, 6 turns maybe, if you count your turn 1 and your grade 1 and grade 2 turns. So yeah, I running both, 2 of each, because realistically you don't need more than that. And this is also gives variety, because a lot of the times you don't have counterblast, and you sometimes have excess amount of cards. So I don't run like 3 Galeas, because the amount of counterblast that this deck uses, especially with my deck, it's a little bit, sometimes it's a bit too much. So yeah, this is, yeah, like the main multi-attack engine, one of the main ones. And Terrific Cauldron, the first skill is Auto on Regal Circle. When this unit attacks, if it's the first battle of the turn, Soul Blast 1 and stand this unit. I'm already running 2 of them. And the second skill is when Auto on Regal Circle once per turn. If this unit stands, this unit gains 5000 power. So if you have this on the board, you will always attack with this first, because it's a Soul Blast 1, attack twice, and it will be 14k for both attacks at least. And remember, you have Valeos Vanguard. They're gonna be stuck at either 7 or 8k if they're at grade 3, which is very, it's annoying how much attack that this they can give. So yeah, this is slightly more power. It's immediate power, and that's why I use 2 of it. 3 Galio. The first skill is Auto on Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1. You choose one of your blue wave rearguards and you stand it. And the second skill is Auto on Regal Circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard's current power is different than the original one, Soul Blast 1, you exchange position with the same regard in the same column. So this is also one of your main multi-attacking engines. It requires a soul, yes, but in my experience, you usually have spare soul, even though that's not a lot of soul. Like I say, you die in 6 turns either way. So yeah, and the fact that this changes units, so you can have this on your front row and any of these two in your back row. You attack, exchange position with the same column, and you both of these suddenly is now front row units. Very nice. I don't want to say it's very powerful, but it's up there for this deck. It's useful. And for Coral Souls, this is a no-brainer. The first skill is continuous on Regal Circle. Um, yeah. When this unit attacks, if you have 4 or more other rest triggers, this unit gains 15,000 power. The second skill is Auto on Trigger Circle. During at the end of your turn, if you attack 4 or more time this turn, put this into the soul and draw card. This is your main way. This is your only way to get soul other than riding. And this draws you a card, which is very helpful in Yakov Force. In my experience, it's Valeos. You don't really get a lot of cards into your hand, other than the one card that I'm going to explain later. And it's a 24k beat stick. And with this deck, you're gonna move a lot of units. So these units will at least like be one of the last ones to attack. That means most likely this will be a 24k beat stick, and when they're 7 or 8k, it's very annoying to deal with. So yeah, this is my grade 2 lineup. It's not a lot of grade 2s in my opinion. You can play a lot more, but it sometimes mess with the ratios that I like. So yeah, 13 grade 2s and 6 grade 3s, and I'm also running a lot of grade 1s. Like, some people say it is a lot. 2 Dorga, 4 Corvette, 4 Beregeros, the grade 3 sorter, and 4 Propulsion Dragon. The Now I'm gonna explain this grade 1 first, because this used to be a promo. Now it's now from the Valeo set. The first skill is Auto on Vanguard Circle. When placed, counterblast. No, not counterblast one. Discard one card, then you draw one. This basically just helps you to get slightly better card. And if you're going second, if you tried this, discard quick shield and you draw cards. So you don't have the quick shield anymore. Sometimes you want the quick shield, but most of the times you don't want. So yeah, and the second skill is continuous on trigger circle. If your opponent's Vanguard's current power is different than the original one, this unit can attack from the back row. This is one of the reasons why you run this George, at least one, because you attack with her, you attack with George, you restamp her, and then you attack with her again. That is 3 attacks from 2 units. It seems gimmicky, but attacking from back row, it's one more attack. And remember, they're most likely gonna be either at 7k or 8k, which is 5k, and that's not without additional power. So yeah, this is very nice. This is nice to have. I'm only running 2 of it because, in my opinion, the other cards are better. And yeah, that's why I run 2. The second one is the grade 3 searcher. The grade 3 searchers, you're only running 6 grade 3s, and you want to write 4 or 5 of, or sometimes 5 of the grade 3s. Yeah, it's a 4 of, in my opinion. It also gains 5k if you have 4 or more units. Like I say, with this deck, it's relatively easy to get. If you don't get bored, what there is to get the 4 or more different reset units. So yeah, that's the grade 3 searcher. I'm going to go with Corvette now. The first skill is continuous on Riga Circle. During your turn, if you have a blue wave Vanguard, this unit gains 5000 power. And the second skill is auto on Vanguard or Riga Circle. When the attack when the attack or the attack that this unit boosted hits, you check top 3 for a blue wave, and then you put it into the hand, and then the rest goes to bottom of deck in any order. You don't shuffle, so that means you can sometimes stack the bottom of the deck, but in my experience you at least get 1 trigger, and sometimes you want to shuffle. So yeah, but this is a very powerful card. This is basically that one great the Revenger on hit one, which is slightly worse too, in my opinion, because you don't shuffle the deck, which sometimes can be an upside, because if you don't see any triggers, that means your triggers um going, you more likely to hit triggers, but most of the time you don't. This is a 4 off because of the reason of you play a lot of blue wave. Uh, you run 12 grade 1 blue waves. You run at least, like, no, you run 7, no, blue wave grade 2s, and then I run 5 blue wave grade 3. So that's a lot of blue wave they can search from this. You're most likely gonna hit it. Sometimes you don't. It's still a very, it's basically pressure, because you most likely gonna get a card and your opponent know it, so they're most likely gonna guard it. So yeah, it's a very nice card combination of 4 Bergrios. If you're going second, you write Bergrios, and then you put Corvette on the back row. If you can do that, it's very powerful. Or you put it on the side if you have Galliot, because Galliot 3 stacks of Vanguard, and since he is a blue wave, it's always gonna be 13k at least. So yeah, very powerful, very nice. So my last great ones gonna be Propulsion Dragon. It only has 1 skill, Auto on Riga Circle, once per turn. At the end of battle, let this unit attack, counterblast 1. You choose a unit, and then you exchange position. If you choose a unit on the back row, stand this unit. This is a very nice card, because you're most likely gonna switch from the back row anyway, so you're gonna most likely stand this unit. Yes, there is a counterblast one. Yes, this deck eats a lot of counterblast one, but My idea for this deck is very glass cannon. You rush, and you rush more. If you can't rush, rush more. Um, so yeah, it's a it's either an 8k another 8k beat stick, or 8k booster, which is in this deck. It's nice to have, like, your opponent need to guard 5 or 10k more, like I say, since they're gonna be screwed at 7 or 8k. So yeah, that's my great ones. Off to my trigger lineup, which is most likely like generic alcohol force. For draw PG, um, 3 normal draw, 6 crits, 4 heal, the new heals, and then 1 starter. Starter, I don't need to explain it. The um, you need cards. That's why I run more draw triggers than I run crit triggers. You don't draw a lot, so you need somehow to replenish your card, and I say 7 draws for me, or 6 draws, and is fine. For the crits with this deck, it's useful because they need two things now with the crits. I'm running 5 crits, but you can substitute one of the draws for one of the crits. You can run fronts. Actually, a lot of people say run fronts instead of running. They instead of running 7 draws and my 5 crits. Or some people say run 4 crits, 4 crits, 5 draws. Four of them are draw pages, 4 are normal ones, and 3 of the front triggers. In my opinion, that is, very useful, but I want the immediate damage most of the time, and I don't really like using fronts with this deck. It's just my instinct to not to do fronts, because I want to rush with this deck. This deck screams rushing and going second. So yeah, and the new heals very nice. When placed on Guardian Circle, if you haven't thrown a grade 3, you choose one of the effects below. Either your Vanguard gains 10,000 power, or you choose a re-attacking unit gains -2 crits. It's nice to have that. You get a bit more survivability. I say a bit, not much, from my experience, because as good as this is, as good as this grade 3 is, this is a grade 3, so you can actually break on this. We can actually break and not have anything but this to ride. So yeah, be cautious. And also the second skill, you're most likely not going to use it. Yeah, the skill is auto. When this unit is placed on the Riga circle, if you have 0 cards in your damage zone, you put the top card of your deck to the damage zone face up. It's basically just Bobo, but slightly better, slightly faster, and searchable too. But in my experience, you never use the second skill. It's a waste. If you have no damage, maybe you use this if you have Valeos and your opponent's at grade 3, which is near impossible that they're gonna do that. They're not that dumb. So yeah, that's my deck. It's Valios, in my opinion. Pure Valios deck like this is a pure glass cannon. Uh, you won't be surviving, that's for sure. But the payoff is your opponent's gonna scream, gonna feel pain. That's the whole point of this deck. Is that they're gonna have stress at the end of the game. So yeah, that's my values deck. I hope you like the video and my very not good values deck list for a lot of people. But for me, it works. It doesn't work all the time because it's slow, but it works most of the time. So yeah, my name is Exterial. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe. Maybe like. I'm not the one. I'm not gonna beg something like that. But if you want to subscribe, go subscribe. You wanna like, go like. If you wanna dislike, go ahead. I don't give a shit. That's my opinion. But yeah, thank you for watching.